blonde lady, that one, who's an Army veteran. Yeah, I'm gangster. Yeah, the Army veteran vets out veterans of comedy. Today we have a veteran of comedy here, which means you start comedy, you do comedy, you don't quit comedy, you're a veteran. We got Sharon Simon here. Yes, and she, she's over there in that box. She's on the BMG channel on Viva Live TV, VIVALIVE TV. Let me read you her intro before she gets to talk. This is suffering for comedians. Let's sit and wait while I stall. She is the host of the hit show The Honey Zoomers on BMG, Viva Live TV. Could have been seen at clubs across the country, but now it shows in her kitchen and is performing at some outside shows with hand sanitizer and a mask. Welcome to our little stage here, the Sharon Simon. Hi, Sharon. Woo!
Hi, Martha. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. How are you doing down in wherever you're at?
I'm in Washington Heights, Manhattan, and I think all things considered, I'm doing great. I can't complain because I'm healthy and I'm working and I'm busy. But I miss being outside without a mask on for sure. Like I miss breathing fresh air, and I miss nature. We live across the street from a really beautiful park, and I love going there. Or I say I used to love going there. In my neighborhood, people really aren't social distancing or wearing masks, so just going to the grocery store is kind of dangerous.
Yes, I get it. Oh my gosh. I lived in Brooklyn for a year of my life. I love Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Don't you
Brooklyn's
love it?
great. Yeah. But I'm in
That's
Manhattan. I'm in the part of Manhattan that's the second most upper part of Manhattan. It's I live near. I can see the George Washington Bridge from my apartment.
So is that north of Harlem?
Yes.
Okay, I had it confused. I heard Brooklyn and didn't hear nothing.
No, there's a Washington Heights in Brooklyn. That's a different Washington Heights.
Oh, no wonder you said Manhattan.
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's awesome. So how far north are you of like Penn Station?
Very. It would be a very long walk. Like I said, the biggest thing in my neighborhood is the George Washington Bridge. No.
Are they going to change the name of the bridge?
I wonder. I don't know. I think that the first thing to be changed will be Columbus Circle, if any giant part of Manhattan is drastically changed. I love this. One of my friends thought it should be named Colombo Circle, which I absolutely love because like he's an Italian American that everybody loves. I mean, he's not a real person, but Ralph Cramden is in front of the Port Authority. There is a giant statue of Ralph Cramden, so he's not a real person either.
Right now, every millennial watching is Ralph Cramden. Who's there? Who's Cramden?
Well, if they've been to the Port Authority and in New York City, they've seen this statue of a heavyset man holding himself up all proud, and they should know he was an actor, not a real bus driver.
I love the idea of Colombo Circle.
So this is what would have to happen, though, in my opinion, is when your train pulled into Colombo Circle, it would stop for a second, and then you would hear him say, "Wait, one more thing," and then it would go a little further before it completed your journey.
I was thinking that the same thought, only with the statue, that the statue could go in a circle and say, how are you today? Oh, and one more question.
One of my fantasies is to be the Columbo of the reboot. I would love to be a female, whatever. But I've always had that fantasy because I'm a little like him. I'm smart, but I'm frumpled. And
I am
disorganized.
I feel like I'm just like him when I'm doing interviews,
Mm-hmm.
like, so where are you really from? What? Huh? Wait a minute. One more question. The math doesn't add up. It's funny. So talk to me about your childhood becoming funny. Like growing up.
I like most comedians have had a very odd childhood. So just because I've realized that I'm going deep like quickly, so I'm not gonna tonight, unless you want me to, and in which case I will. But I'm just gonna start with the general differences. So
sounds good.
I grew up in Hudson County, New Jersey, which is a predominantly a Latino neighborhood. I was the only Jewish person that lived anywhere near me. There were a couple of other Jewish people in the town who I was friends with on and off, but that's not really who I grew up with. So I've always been different, and I've always been aware of the fact that I'm different. With the onset of people really, really trying to focus on what it means to understand racism in America, there was this book, White Fragility, that I was told that all liberal white women are reading White Fragility. So I started reading it, and in the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, it said something like, white people in America never have to face that they're white or what that means. My nickname growing up was Flashlight. Everywhere I went, people were like, oh, I can't see because there's a flashlight in the room. So that was not my experience. I was aware that I was different. But I also had a gift when I was a little girl, when I was a baby. My mother would take me to my sister's dance class with her. And when my sisters, and they would all dance, the music would come on, and as a baby, I would try to get up and I would try to dance. So I always wanted to be interacting in that way. I went to dance school as a kid. I was so good at it that I was moved into my sister's group. She's 4.5 years older than me. So I was a little girl dancing with not so little girls. The mothers of the children in my sister's class were very, they didn't like the fact that I was there. They found it, I don't know if they found it disruptive because I was a little kid or if they were just jealous. Whatever the case was, the person in charge of the dance school did the right thing by my family and came to my mother and said, I cannot teach your daughter anymore. You got to go to this more professional dance school. So I started studying at a different dance school. They noticed that I had an ability to be funny, and I started auditioning at the age of 9. And I was on Saturday Night Live that year, which is, yeah, it's very exciting, but I'm only talking about it with you because I'm trying to talk about like more fun stuff. It's just, I don't want to think that I peaked at 9, but like people love to use that credit when I'm on shows because it's a real credit, but I was 9, you know?
What did you do at age 9?
I was in a sketch. I was in a Christmas sketch, yeah. There was like a sketch with Mary Gross where she was asking kids how they felt about Christmas, and they were all over it. They were all like, Christmas isn't what it should be. They were all like that, and I was one of them.
Did you say I'm Jewish?
No, I pretended to not be for the sketch.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You passed on being Jewish on SNL.
Well, I said what they told me to say.
No, I know. I'm being funny. Aren't you thinking this is funny? So tell me what happened since then till now.
So I auditioned and I did all the other stuff that people do, and then I had some like real heavy stuff happen to me, so I stopped acting completely. And then I went to college and I tried to be an actress after that. I was never successful. I moved to LA. No one ever hired me to be, nope, I've been an actress. I've done Shakespeare. Nobody's ever paid me to do anything other than be funny. Anytime there's been money involved, it's been comedy related. So I tried giving up, gave up completely. And then 9/11 happened and I realized I was extremely unhappy So I tried stand-up, and I tried it at a mic held by a group of guys who called themselves Bag and Nuts. I'm still friends with some of these guys. I conned them into believing I had done stand-up before, and of course I was absolutely horrific because it was my first time, and I had a lot to drink, and I couldn't speak, right? So I tried it again for Gladys Simon at Hamburger Harry's open mic, which is that's the place to try stand-up for the first time, is an open mic in a nurturing environment like that was back then. And
she's my coach. She's the reason I'm anywhere.
She's great. I have not had like a significant interaction with her, but a lot of people I'm close to have, and they attribute everything good that's happened to them to her. Yeah. But I didn't go that route. I went the barking route when I started. Yeah. I stood outside of Boston Comedy Club and I barked people in, and that got me onto shows and got me some comedy legs. I even had the opportunity to perform with Chris Rock in my like second year, because I think he was rehearsing for the Grammys. I think that's what he was. I think he hosted the Grammys and he was getting ready for it. And he just did what comics do. He was going to clubs and just showing up to try out new material. Yeah. And he was super nice. He was super nice and super friendly, and handsome in person. They hear horror stories about stars. You know, I was an obnoxious 2-year-in comic. I'm sure I thought I was a lot funnier than I was.
Yeah, isn't it? How many years have you been in it now?
About 20, not quite 20.
Wow, Sharon, thank you for serving up jokes.
Thank you. I don't think
Oh my gosh, 20 years. Yeah. Tell me about Honey Zoomers, dear.
I am so excited about the Honey Zoomers. It's a retro dating reality show where one non-comic gets to pick amongst 3 comedians who are trying to get a date with them.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's so fun. So in addition to, obviously, they're trying to flirt with the person and they're trying to get the person's attention, they're also trying to be as funny as they can be. So one of the things that I absolutely love about the Honey Zoomers is you get to see comedians flirting in a way you would never see with them doing their stand-up. And I have the opportunity to put 3 amazing comedians together that wouldn't necessarily ever even meet each other or work with each other on my second episode that's airing on BMG. It's Viva Live TV. Is the app. Everybody, please, if you're watching this, download Viva Live TV, watch BMG. The channel is growing exponentially. The second episode, I had a comedian on from the Netherlands. So this isn't something I could do on a comedy show. Bring people together from all over the world in this way. But I love doing it on the show.
So Esther Forrester up in Long Island, she just did a dating show too, but that had nothing to do with yours, right?
No. And our patent is pending, so we are working toward ensuring that this is what it is and that it isn't happening other places. We put a lot of time. BMG has put a lot of love into creating this show. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. I don't know of honestly, I can say this, I don't know of anything using Zoom the way we're using it.
I can't wait. What day of the week does it air, Sharon?
So we air the highlights usually on Saturday night, but they're always on. I can send you a YouTube link. My YouTube is Simon Says Laugh, or you can watch them on my Facebook or on IG Live, because it plays continuously. But then on BMG, we are going to be airing every Sunday, I believe at 9:00. But you can watch the highlights and old episodes that didn't make it to the network.
Wow, that sounds like so much fun.
It so is. It's like I said, I don't know that I've been involved in a project that I believed in as much as I do this. And it's retro. You can see what's behind me.
Yes.
It's very, very retro, very colorful. There's no politics. The only drama is competing to get a date. There's nobody fighting over who's right or who's wrong. It's just like, it's almost like a party where three people are trying to, you ever been to a party and there's like three guys trying to talk up the hot chick?
Yes.
Or vice versa. But they're comics. That's what
this is. So fun. I can't wait.
It is. Cool.
I'll promote the heck out of this one.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm trying to, not everybody knows about it. And this is, doing things like this are the best way to get the word out there so everybody's aware of it.
Absolutely.
The feedback has only been positive.
Fabulous. There's people doing these kind of Zoom shows all over the country that should have you on. If you're doing a Zoom show, please get her on so the word can spread.
Yeah, I love doing Zoom comedy too. It's been interesting. It was, at first, I only did Zoom stand-up for the purpose of, I'm at home, I'm not performing. This is between March, my last show at March, which was at Broadway Comedy Club, to my show last Saturday, which was in a club called Flamingos, basically a strip club parking lot. I can't. Between that time was the longest I've ever gone without performing stand-up. So I started doing Zoom stand-up just specifically to keep myself writing, as well as I have a little bit of Achilles heel when it comes to comedy. I love my ability to do crowd work and interact with the crowd. I love doing it, but I believe it's had a directly negative effect on my career in that, who needs material if you can just tease the crowd? And I don't think anything I've ever written compares with that ability. And that ability is never going to get you a late night spot. Never.
That's true.
So,
listen, what you just said is such a mouthful.
Yeah. So
oh my God.
doing Zoom, even though I can do material, crowd work on Zoom, and I do a tiny bit of it, I have to have solid, full-on material. And I think I've given the impression I don't. I have over an hour of material. I sometimes am afraid to do longer bits that take a little while to get to the laugh. If I know that poking fun at a couple for flirting too much or whatever it is will get a laugh, on Zoom, I'm like, okay, if I'm not getting a laugh for 30 seconds, that's okay. And I'm practicing that stuff, and it definitely made me a stronger comic.
Yes.
The PMD are also going to be doing Zoom stand-up shows as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's helping a lot of us to slow down our delivery.
Yes.
And really let the audience hear it and respond the way they want to, and not step on the laughs. And, we're going to get bigger laughs, and we're going to see if we slow down, people will laugh better.
Yeah.
That's been interesting, because I never had the confidence to believe it would get more than a chuckle. So I would hurry and get to the next chuckle. But I'm starting to hear loud laughs because I've slowed down. I'm like, what? This is weird.
But there's also that, there's a stage presence that you put on when you get on a stage that does not make any sense if you're interacting with someone over Zoom. If you're interacting with someone over Zoom, you're talking to them the same way I talk to my dad over FaceTime.
Yes.
It's making it smaller.
It's so hard to have a persona, on this little tiny thing they call, I try to get across that I'm wacky, and you really have to kind of overact it for them to just get it, Personas are hard to get across, I think.
I don't think that a lot of the bells and whistles that I put on in terms of persona come through on the Honey Zoomers, but I don't know that it comes through in my Zoom stand-up, which is another thing that's been helping me focus on writing better material. If you've ever seen me perform, I almost always wear Doc Martens. I almost always wear cat eye glasses, and I almost always wear a very flashy outfit. Not because I can, and I love to.
Yes.
That's how I want to dress. But
when I perform, it's in a prom gown.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Because you can.
Who's gonna stop me? Rita Rudner does it. you know.
Right.
So there.
But in my kitchen, I don't do that. I don't, for whatever reason, I don't like wearing my glasses when I'm interacting this way. I feel like, and I don't know if I'll go back to it after this. Like, people can see my eyes, they can see my expression. I have terrible vision. So if I don't wear my glasses on stage, I'm not going to be able to see the audience. But here I can very much see you. You're physically close.
Yes. Yes. Wow. You know, like Zoom is changing a lot of our theories and, you know, things we thought about comedy, and it's challenging all of us. Anybody who's partaking in Zoom comedy is coming out different.
Yeah.
In different ways. Like
it felt so. Have you performed live? I remember you saying that you were going down the street with a microphone and a small amp. So you've been doing it regularly, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I have not. This Saturday was the first time I stood by a mic and looked at people. And it took about 2.5 minutes, and I watched the tape. I can even see it. My energy is very grounded. It's heavy. And then after a couple of minutes, I got the rhythm of it, and I remembered how to talk to people directly. And then, of course, I threw my material out and started doing crowd work.
You appear to me as somebody who has had acting and improv. Am I right?
Yes, I studied with the Groundlings about 4 years. I did not go forward with the Groundlings because I left Los Angeles. It's one of my many, like, it's not like it's a regret because I'm very, very happy in my life, but it's kind of like, what would have happened if I had stayed with them because of all the good things that have happened to people that did stay with them. But it was the right thing to do in terms of my life. Other than that, and I also have a theater degree from Rutgers University.
So. See, I can feel, you know, when I'm talking to somebody, I can feel if they've been acting or improv, and I knew you were both. Yeah. I knew you were both just from talking to you.
And I think improv is one of the best things somebody can do that wants to be a comedian. I love improv. I love it, but you can't go forward with improv because you're tied to everybody you work with. It's like being in a band. You can only go as far as all the band members can go. And so it's not a good final thing, I don't think, but it is such a good step with becoming a comedian.
Yes. And it helps you so much when you get into trouble on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Material or with the audience or with a heckler.
And just that reminder that if you think about it, you lost the moment already. The second you think about it, and it's part of why so many comedians get in trouble for saying politically incorrect things, which hopefully we're going to be able to move past this and understand that we're not game changers. We're not politicians. We're joke tellers. So the second you actually analyze, is this appropriate? Isn't this appropriate? You've already lost the moment. You've lost the joke.
I like that thought. That's. I bet that's true. I bet that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only been doing comedy 6 years with a brain injury. So the first 5.5 years you don't count, and that's what that means. 6 years is really 6 months. And
well, you're rocking it through this quarantine. You know that. Like, you're coming out with new content constantly. You're working with so many amazing comedians, and you know, some of them rock star comedians. So that's really something to be proud of.
Thank you. And it's mostly because, like you, my strength is being in the moment, especially if I have the brain deficit. You know, I'm better when I forget my material. I'm better at coming up with something based on the moment, you know. And if
that's
somebody
great.
Heckles me, oh, that's material. Are you kidding me? Heckle me again, you know. Like, I don't want to memorize stuff. Like, it doesn't work that well for me, okay? Check my record. But yeah, so I haven't done much live stand-up during the pandemic. But
is there stuff going? You're in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, I took my cart down the street one day, 2 days max, and people were like, that's not safe, so I acquiesced. And I've been to 2 shows here in Vegas, one down in Boulder City, you know, and one, I can't remember the other one, but yeah, I haven't performed live. So I'm, you know, really, I'm great in the moment. But as far as I've got, this is all material. Like I've got material. That's not the problem. The problem is, you know, organizing it and memorizing it and delivering it. I'd rather just be in the moment. Anything comes to my mind's coming out my mouth.
Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, back to you. So you've been doing comedy 20 years. You've got to have some great moments you'll never forget. And kind of have to keep this short and wrap up here pretty soon, but I'll promote the heck out of Honey Zoomers.
Okay,
But
do you want a really great moment? I'll give you a really great moment. I've been doing stand-up comedy for about a year and a half, and I did the amateur night at the Apollo, thinking I was hilarious and brilliant, and having all my anxious energy that I had about me. And if you're familiar with Showtime, the Apollo Amateur Night, one of the things that everybody on it does when they compete is they rub this stump of wood that's supposed to be lucky and sacred. And I was so nervous that I dislodged it from where it was. So when I went out to do stand-up, the stump actually came behind me and started rolling through the stage. So of course I got booed off. Of course I got tap danced and showed my way home. And I cried. The stage manager, I was crying so hard, she just opened her eyes. She's like, she's used to this. She's used to people running off the stage crying. And it happened. So she hugged me for a minute, and I felt like my career was over. But I'm so glad that happened, because nothing on stage can happen worse than the entire Apollo Theater booing you. If you have that feeling, remember, you don't like this joke? All right, that's fine. You'll like the next one. You're not going to boo me off stage.
That's an incredible story.
I hope to go back there that it's able to reopen. We hope these landmarks are able to reopen. So I so hope to have a chance to perform there again in my life.
Please, before we go, please tell us again about in a synopsis of Honey Zoomers, the premise, and where to catch it.
The Honey Zoomers is 3 hilarious comedians competing for a date with a non-comedian in a very party atmosphere like you would see at any comedy after party. The focus is on being funny and having a good time. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. You can watch the highlights anywhere on my stuff. All my stuff is Simon Says Laugh. But if you want to really watch the episodes, please download Viva Live TV. It's an app. It's free. And the Honey Zoomers airs Sunday nights on BMG, the comedy channel 217. We're going to be producing more content on the site as well.
Simon Says Laugh.
Simon Says Laugh. That's my stuff. But to see the full episodes, you got to go to Viva Live TV, the BMG channel, which is channel 217.
Got it. And it airs Sundays at what time?
I believe it's 9 p.m., but I will know for sure soon. But start by downloading the app, support the channel, know that you've got a 20-year bet involved in promoting this and pushing this forward. And Linda, you have to see the show. I know you're going to love it.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to download Viva Live TV. Now, I don't have to download the channel. Once I download
No, the channel comes with it. And it's free.
Oh, cool. I like free.
Cool. Yeah.
I like free.
Me too.
You guys do it. Let's do it. Let's support Sharon Simon. Now, you just graduated without knowing it from Comics Spot. And so that means when you have something else to come back and promote, tell me you need 5 minutes to just promote something.
Okay, cool. I will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Linda. I look forward to seeing you on TV.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in person soon, hopefully.
Yes, Christmas time. I'll be in New York.
Awesome.
Hopefully. Right? Thank you so much, Sharon. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot.